Hello and welcome to Holopon Solo Sagas, or welcome back to Holopon Solo Sagas if you are a subscriber and you've watched me before. If not, welcome. So what we're going to do today is we are going to play a game that I have been sent. It's called Caught in the Rain. This is one of the first videos I've ever done which has got some form of promo thing that will have appeared because I've had to tick a little button. So this is a game that the developers who are called Ravensridge Emporium, they're going to kickstart. They sent it to me and they asked would I mind playing it and telling you about the kickstart. It's going to be on the 25th of February. Today is probably the 25th of January, so I'm 4 weeks ahead. I read the book and I was quite interested in it, and so I thought we would give it a play. It is a solo game, but it's a mystery. It's like it's a bit of an investigative mystery storytelling, bit narrative. The mechanics are very much along the lines of, it's a bit like Cluedo. It uses a deck of cards, 2d6, pen, pencil, normal thing. So what we'll do is we'll play it, we'll see how it plays. We'll play a simple one today. I've read the rules several times. I've done my standard practice of how I approach games, all games, free league, indie, kickstart, whatever, which is I read the rules and then I play it basically live and I learn to play it in front of you, unless I've played it before in the past like Cyberpunk. And so we'll do that and we'll see how it plays. And if it plays well and we enjoy it, then we will do another one probably around the 25th of February, but a bigger one. So there's different levels that you can play at. You can play a simple, really simple quick game, or you can play a game which is set as a mystery that anyone could really solve, or as a standard game. So we won't play standard, we'll play the next one down and I'll show you how it plays. So first off, we'll run through the book. It's mystery, as I said, investigative type thing. So a bit like Vazen. We'll see what the rules that Free League puts out for Blade Runner and see what their investigation rules are like. But it's quite nice. So you start off, you need a deck of cards and you need to separate that deck of cards into the face cards, which will be called our truths, and into the actually, I'll tell you this now. So basically, the essence of the game is you split the deck into truths and clues. Clues are aces and then the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which you will go through a cycle and draw and build up some clues of what the mystery will be. Your truths are all the face cards. You will take 3 of the face cards without looking at them and you will put them away, and then you will shuffle the rest. And the idea is to try and guess what those 3 cards are. And you do that by trying to uncover pieces of truth and marking them down. And so you try and track and then you try and guess what you've got left in that over there, and then you try and do it. Because you have a character, your character can take damage and can take basically can take fatigue and to take damage, and has statistics that can then be knocked back. So it's a weighting of between your character basically suffering and you uncovering the truths, in essence. So what I'll now do is I'll separate the deck into the 2 halves, because I haven't done that yet. So I've done that now. So I have a deck which is the all of the number cards, the aces and the 2 jokers, and a deck of 12 cards which are just the face cards. I have shuffled them so I don't know what they are. I'm going to apologise to the Ravensridge Emporium, Ravensridge Emporium. I'll put links in the description and there'll be a link to the Kickstart, and if you use that link I am going to get a small percentage of money based on what you Kickstart against if you use that link. I'll be open and tell you. First time I've done this, it's like a sponsorship. It's quite exciting for me, but I do like the game. So also, just to mention for the game, oh yeah, to apologise to the Ravensridge Emporium, I don't script things. That's not the way I do things, and so if this is piecemeal and it doesn't do you justice, do tell me, and you don't have to give me any money, and I mean that, because I've got a free book out here. So there's also one thing I will say, very much to the benefit of this game, which to the others, even the Electric State Solo does not have any sort of verb charts. There are plenty of tables in here, so you can run your mystery being just standard, or they have some fantasy specific tables if you want to do a fantasy mystery, or they have some sci-fi tables, and it's really quite thorough in that description. Quite impressed. So we've sorted out our cards into our truth deck, which is Jack, Queens and Kings, and our clue deck, which is the remaining cards and the 2 jokers. We've shuffled them both. Now what we need to do is we draw 3 cards out of the truth, 1, 2, 3, and we put those away. I'm going to put those inside the card case. Oh, and Pio, this is to Pio, who is one of the Adventurers Guild. Thank you very much to the Adventurers Guild. Future Pete, who's editing this, please put the Adventurers Guild up there. Pio basically sent me the money to buy these cards, so I do thank you very much. It was for Forbidden Lands, but I'm using them for this as well. So Pio, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. So we have taken our 3 cards out and I've put them inside the box. So I don't know what they are. That is the mystery that we're going to be looking at. Next, we are going to create our investigator. Now we're going to just do the standard simple game. And so we are going to uncover some of those truths and write them down so as we know what they are and we know what's not. Basically, so as we can try and guess what the actual cards are easier. So to create our investigator has 3 statistics, power, insight and method. When we're attempting to do things, we will roll against we'll do an attribute roll. So we've got 3 attributes. One of the attributes can be at 2, one can be at 1, and the least proficient is at 0. This we add to our 2d6 roll. Power is your investigator's strength, speed and physical resistance. Insight is your investigator's logical thinking and environmental awareness. Method is your investigator's resourcefulness and creativity. Now, I was trying to think what type of investigator. There's so many to choose from. We've got like our modern sort of heroes, or, you know, back in the, what was it, 70s, 80s, Simon and Simon. Then you've got a Magnum PI. Oh, we can see what age I grew up in. Then you have Columbo. How about we be a Columbo? So we are going to be a Columbo type. So Columbo clearly is good when it comes to insight, investigative, logical thinking, environmental awareness. So we're going to have that at 2. Methodology, resourcefulness and creativity. He's quite creative, but he does get caught out sometimes. So 1. And we would not exactly describe Columbo in his dirty Mac smoking his cigar as being the most physical, strong, physical resistance or speedy of people. So Columbo can have 0 for his power. After that, we create an obligation. You can go to page 71. So each one of these things, as I said, there's a general, a fancy, and a sci-fi. General, fancy, gothic, horror, and sci-fi versions of these tables. So we will roll on the obligation table. Now, an obligation is a commitment that our investigator has, aside from solving mysteries. So it's a thing that ties them to reality. Now, Columbo, I don't know if you watched Columbo, but Columbo had his wife that he mentioned a lot. Mrs. Columbo, did he call her? But he mentions her a lot, and he mentions like the stuff she does a lot. So what we'll do is we're going to roll on the obligation table within the book, page 71, once you get it. And I do advise, do I advise? No, not yet. I'm not going to advise yet because we haven't finished playing it. On the read, it's interesting. I will take a look at it if I was you, but I wouldn't advise you to get it yet because we've not played it. Lots of interesting things. So they're writing a novel, they do volunteer work, they've got a pet, they like to tend the garden, they attend therapy. There's some quite good things in here. Run a family business that you can actually tie into a story. There is a way of doing campaign play as well. I haven't really read that thoroughly. We'll use greens. They use D6s, so there's lots of D66 tables. 52, stalk next victim. Don't get that one. So I don't like that one. That was actually the one where I read out of the list that I liked the least. 44, work at day job. So, we've got obligation is work at day job. Obligation is tied to your most proficient attribute. Insight, work a day job. So maybe this so it's a Columbo-like character, but he doesn't work for the police. He does investigative work on the side and works a day job as an accountant because he's got insight. He's an accountant. So he's got an accountancy day job. That is one of his obligations. It's tied to the most proficient attribute. Insight, your investigator's logical thinking and environmental awareness. Is an accountant. I don't know if that works, but I'm putting it down. A signature keyword. So a signature keyword. So it uses keywords Keywords are gained and used throughout the play and represent events, items, or critical insights in the narrative. Keywords can be used once for a bonus. Your investigator's signature keyword can be used multiple times and should be a valued possession, otherworldly knowledge, or something else entirely. So when you attempt to do a roll for things, it's used in, we used it in Good Society, and I don't know where else it's used, but there are other systems that use keywords. You can basically, it's a lot of the narrative-based games. I think Atomic Sock Puppet, their games, which is the PDQ system, I think that uses keywords as well. If not, do stick it in the comments and correct me, and I apologise to Atomic Sock Puppet. Atomic Sock Puppet? I think you're Atomic Sock Puppet. I think. Each keyword is a single word or a short phrase that relates to the mystery in some way. So you can use your keyword at any time to do one of the following three things. You can re-roll an attribute test, you can strengthen a clue, which means you can search the clue deck for another card which is equal to, I'll show you how clues work in a minute, and you can eliminate a threat. Threats come up during the game. So this is keywords. So we are going to roll on a general keyword, and we are going to say this is our signature keyword, so something that is important to us. 56, lie. Okay, lie. I'm going to take the signature keyword as lie, in that we lie about our job. So this Columbo tells fibs every now and then. So we have our signature keyword is lie. We set the danger for our mystery to 0, and we create a name and add a trait. So the trait is a way to describe or think of, again, there's not genre specific traits and motivation tables. These are more general. 43, what we ran, ruthless. Columbo is, I mean, realistically speaking, Columbo, TV Columbo, was pretty ruthless. He didn't come across that way. He came across doddering, but he wasn't. He was pretty ruthless. So we need to create our mystery. So they've got a nice little way to create simple mystery, and we're going to use the simple mystery creation to do a simple mystery to start off with. What we do is we have a sentence. The mystery begins at the space, roll a d6, where a space, roll a d6, has space, roll a d6. So we have, and then we're going to do a motivation. We have, so the mystery begins in a stadium, begins at the stadium. So something happens at a sports stadium or a stadium where a visitor has 6 changed. There are some expanded tables. So these are simplistic tables that are on within the book to just do a simple. There are some very, very expanded tables further at the back of the book, appendices of the book, where you can get more further details for your mysteries, and those can be genre specific. So we've got a fancy object table, a fancy location table, etc. So next we have, what is our motivation? Let's roll on the motivation table. So basically someone has gone to the stadium, They're a visitor at the stadium, and where a visitor has changed. So we've got 41. 41 is faith, or 14 jest business. All right. We're going to use faith, but we're not going to take it as religious faith. We're going to call it faith in the team. Okay, how about it's a small stadium for a local sports team that's like maybe a relative or a cousin plays at, and we will say that our star player, so is that a visitor? Well, there wasn't much to choose from in the table, but we'll say the star player, our star player has changed, and the fans have noticed but no, like how they play is different. They seem to be a different person. They look the same, but they seem different. The fans have noticed, but the team is acting like it's the same. Or maybe it's not the team acts like the same. Maybe the team has got in touch with us. But the team has noticed and are worried. So we've been called in because we are a big supporter of the team. The team knows that we do investigative stuff on the side and has called us in, or maybe we're an accountant at the stadium. We've been called in to try and identify why this has happened. So what we do now, so now we have a mystery. We have our investigator. There is now a cycle of play that we go through, which I will now introduce you to. So the cycle of play is, so our danger will go up on each iteration around the cycle. And if we roll an attribute test and the sum total is low, so 3, so if the sum total is lower than the danger, then something bad happens, but we'll go through that. So basically the investigative, first off, because we're doing a simple one, because we're going to do an easy investigation, we'll actually, before we kick off, we're going to do an easy investigation. We will reveal 3 truths. So we'll reveal 1, 2, 3. So these are the things that we know it's not. We've got diamonds, hearts, spades, clubs, king, queen, jack, da, da, da. So we know it's definitely not the queen of diamonds, the queen of hearts, the jack of hearts. So we know it's not those. They are not part of our targets. So we've basically got 5 unknowns. So, as I was saying, before I rudely interrupted myself, we begin a cycle. The cycle goes, we infiltrate a location, we locate where the clue may be. So investigator learns and finds clues at that location. We try and acquire the clues at that location, and then we escape that location. Now, if there are threats at the location, we might need to escape. We might not need to escape if there are no threats. If there's a danger or a threat in the location, we might need to infiltrate the location. If there's none, then we don't need to infiltrate the location. So we start with an investigation scene, because there are 2 other things that we can do instead. There's another thing I need to tell you about as well, which is the clock, which is through the day. We decide what happens during the day. Each scene is a clock, and then we've ended the day. So we've begun our day, and we begin the day with an investigation. See, I told you, no planning, just dive in. So we go in to investigate. So one of the first things we do, so we've been asked by the team to look into it. So the first thing we're going to attempt to do is, I guess, let's go to the locker room, and we can see if we can have a chat to the fella lad, the person who's gone missing, and just in a friendly sort of chat, like going in and saying, hello, how's the things going? So we're going to go and we're going to try and get some information about what is going on. Oh, okay, so first off, because we're starting an investigate roll, we need to make an inspect roll. An inspect roll is you roll a d6 and you add the current danger. The current danger is 0. So we have a 1 plus a 0, everything is quiet. You make your way and start with the locate stage. So we start with locating, which is this bit here. We infiltrate, locate, acquire, escape. So we don't need to infiltrate because that roll was a 1, and that table is 1 to 3, start the locate stage, 4 to 5, start with an infiltrate stage with a threat, 6, start the infiltrate stage with a threat at level 2. Level 1 threats mean that it's danger, but they're not looking for you. Level 2 means they're dangerous and they know that you're around, so they're looking for you. And 3 is they're looking for you with lethal intent. So we wouldn't do that yet. So we've gone into the changing rooms, and we're going to look around, and we're going to see if we can find, so we don't have a threat there, so we'll assume that the player in question isn't present. So they're acting weird. They aren't present, so we instead are going to look around the changing rooms, and we're going to see if we can find any clues in that person's locker. So we're going to locate their locker and see if we can find clues in their locker. This means we need to do an attribute test, and the attribute test is 2d6 plus the thing that we're going to use. Now we would say that we are going to use insight, which is your logical thinking and environmental awareness, with the ability to try and look around, which gives us +2. So we roll this, +2, which is 9 + 2 is 11, and then 11 gives us success, find a clue. So we've got 3 outcomes that could possibly be: a failure, 1 to 6, gain a keyword and suffer a consequence, success at a cost, so we get a clue but we have to suffer a consequence, which is 7 to 9, or 10 plus, success, find a clue. So finding a clue means we get to turn a card over on the clues. We get a 4, so we start building piles of clues which are all the 4s, and then at any point we can attempt to convert that pile into truths, and when we convert that pile into truths we get to turn over that number of truth cards and narrow down our opportunities. At the moment we've only got 1, so we don't want to convert it to a truth just yet. Now, because we don't need to use a keyword, there was no danger to represent danger, we didn't get fatigued, so we would then, we add 1 to the danger because we have located, and then we add that 1 to the danger because we required, so the danger goes to 2. So every time we do a thing, we basically tick a box on the process, we do a thing, so we've gone to 2, so we didn't do that, we've located, we've required, and then we escape, which we don't have to do because there was no threat present. So we didn't do that. So that's our first cycle. We've gone and investigated a clue. So what is the clue? So we would say we've found out, we've managed to look in the locker and we've found their wallet and we've got their home address. So the next thing we're going to attempt to do is we're going to go to their house. So we're going to go to their house, we're going to do another investigate, where we're going to go to their house. So we've also we can do an investigate, we can deal with our obligations, or we can rest. Now if we've taken damage, then resting will heal us. Dealing with the obligation, what you do is you describe the scene of how you deal with that obligation, and then you discard a card from the clue deck. Now if that discarded card is one of the same things as you've got as clues out, then you strengthen that clue. So for this one, so we might not do, so we'll do that now. So we'll do an obligation one. Though we have a next place we could go to the dude's house and try and find out what's going on there and see if there's any clues. Like maybe we know that they've got a partner and see if they're there. Instead, what we'll do is we're going to deal with our obligation, and our obligation is our day job. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say that at this chunk, we're going to deal with the obligation. We're going to go into the office. We're going to sort of see if we can get some time off to do this investigation. And we're going to explain to them, but maybe because we lie, we're going to attempt, so we don't have to do, this is one thing, we don't have to do an attribute roll for an obligation, but we only get to get 1 card out of it, like a clue. So we're going to go and we're going to, the probability of me turning a 4 is low. We're going to go and we're going to speak to them and we're going to ask if we can get some time off. We'll say we've got problems with our cats and they have to go to the vet. And we're going to attempt to get some time off. So that means we turn over one of the clue deck. It's an ace, so that's nothing. So that comes over onto the side and that gets taken out of the deck. Which means it's also, so 2 things. 1, it could strengthen. 2, it narrows down the number of clues that are going to be ones that we have out. So we've done that. So then in the evening, we are going to go round to the person's house and see if we can find some information. So our current danger is at 2. We need to roll our inspect roll to see how we start. 1 to 3 is the locate stage, so we add 2, so that's 4. We have to start with the infiltrate stage, and there is a threat. So we need to write a threat down. So we have a threat at level 1, which might be, so what we're going to do, we are going to go to the house, so they're home. It's the evening, so they're home. So the person is home. We are going to go through the bins and see if we can find a clue. So the person is home at level 1 is the threat, which is in this location. So we need to infiltrate to get to here and not get caught. So because we're in the infiltrate stage, we need to make an attribute roll to get across to the locate stage to locate the clue. So we need to make an attribute test, which is we roll 2d6 and we will add our, let's see what we've got, method. Our insight seems to be the best at this point again, which is our logic, which is +2. So we get 3 + 2 is 5. 5 is a failure. So we fail to go, because as we're going up to the bins to have a look at the bins, the player comes out. I think we can use a keyword. We can use a keyword to re-roll the attribute test. So choose a present threat, including rivals, and remove it from the scene as if you had defeated it. Okay, so we're going to have that the threat comes out. So the threat would be coming out at this stage, but all we can re-roll. We'll re-roll. So we're going to use our keyword, which is lie. And what we're going to say is we are going to begin meowing like a cat. We're in the bushes near their bins. We're right behind the bins, wearing our Mac and meowing like a cat. As they come out and they throw a piece of rubbish into the bushes, we make a screechy noise and they shake their head and go back in the house, and we get to re-roll our, so that's used in this scene. We can't use lie again in this scene. We get a 6 + 2 is an 8. An 8 is a success at a cost. So we get a clue, but we suffer a consequence. So let us do our consequence first. So we would have, we've got a threat, so we're going to add 1 to this. We roll a d6, we add the present threat that's in the area, so that gives us a 4. We have to discard a card from the clue deck. So we discard a card from the clue deck, which is a 6 of clubs. It means that we don't get to build up new clues. I think if the clue deck is burnt through, then the investigation slips through our fingers and we can't investigate anymore. We've also got, as a consequence, if we get a 9+, your investigator stops investigating. So I guess maybe we get arrested or something bad happens. And so we miss. So if we're doing that, then we probably narrate that as we don't get as much time to go through the clue deck as to get as many clues as we want, because maybe he has a second thought and comes back outside. So we get 1 clue, which is a 3 of clubs. So that begins a second pile. So maybe we're getting some information about the type. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, so he's changed. So 1 clue was at home. So we've got 1 set of clues, which is at their house. And then we've got a second set of clues, which is the stuff in the bin. So there are some clues that the stuff that's in the bin is very sort of instant meals. So we might come back tomorrow and have a look at the house again and see about, so he should have family, but we're seeing instant meals and solo meals. So that's the clue. We have quite a clue. Now we need to attempt to get out of here. This, I think, is going to be a physical thing, power and speed. We're going to try and leg it before we get caught, which is the escape phase, which is an attribute test, which is 2d6 plus our power, which is 0. So we get a 4. A 4 is a failure. We gain a keyword and we suffer a consequence again. So we'll roll on the keyword table. Reds, 12, weapon, keyword of weapon. Okay, we've got a keyword of weapon, and then we'll roll on the consequence table and we'll see what the consequence comes out as. But I think it might be that they come out, they hear a noise and come out with a baseball bat. We get into a scuffle. But let's see what so d6, a d6 plus 1 for the threat, which is a 2. Choose a present threat and increase its level by 1, max of 2, otherwise increase the danger by 1. So we've got a threat, which is the person, so that goes to a 2. So we have a threat, which is the person knows that we're doing stuff. We got into a scuffle with them and we grabbed their weapon, which is a bat. So we do have a bat with us as a keyword that we might be able to use to re-roll something or deal with something at a future time. But we did get an additional clue about their stuff, and we then will, as a final part, shall we play another cycle? Yeah, all right, let's play another cycle. We're going to go through and do a second day. So we'll rest. When you choose to rest, your investigator finds a place to unwind. This could be roll a d6 and unmark any boxes from the feature. We haven't got any. Remove any strikes from the action. We haven't got any. Discard one card from the clue deck. Okay, so we are going to go home and rest, which means that, so we're basically, we've got some information. We're puffed out a bit because we got chased for quite a while. We do have this bat and we're wondering what we're doing. So we go home, we sit down, we put it down and we look through the stuff that we took. Oh, that's what we'll do. We'll go through the bin, which is where we find out the stuff about the single meals and stuff. And their house was looking, maybe there's something more about their house. We'll go back tomorrow and look at their house. But now we get to discard a card from the clue deck. A 4, which means we get add that to our pile of 4s. So we now have a 4 of spades and a 4, let's show you, hold on. We have a 4 of spades and a 4 of clubs, and we have a 3 of clubs as our clues. So we could convert this to a truth and try and get some information. So maybe we'll do one more, we could do one more investigation, or we could convert that to a truth, because basically we have only got, because it's an easy one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we've got 6. So that would cut it down to 4 left. Let's see if we can do, oh no, we'll do that because then we get to see what it is. So at that night, so in the morning, we are going to attempt to strengthen our clues and make our clues truths. All right, so what that means is any more 4s that come out, if we turn this, so what we do is we use a quarter of the clock, we withdraw those, we get 2 truths, but any more 4s that come out of the deck, we cannot build clues out of them. These are now locked. The 4s are now locked. So we'll do that. So that gives us so we've got a truth. So in the morning when we wake up, we've been sleeping on it and we've tried to establish, so we get to draw 2 truth cards. 1, oh, that's useful. 2. So we draw 2 truth cards, which is the King of Diamonds and the Queen of Clubs. So far we know it's not the King of Diamonds, the Queen of Diamonds. It's not the Queen of Hearts, the Jack of Hearts. So we've got the those suits are hanging around. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 7 cards it could be. They come out. So we have strengthened that. 4s can no longer come out of the deck. And then what do we do? Oh, and we gain a keyword and we know a little bit more. So I think we are going to say that was the stuff inside their meals that we're wondering if, so let's roll a keyword and see if we can turn that keyword general into a piece of information that we've now gained. 11 mantra. All right, so something that we can say as a mantra. So, you know, like our catchphrase, a mantra, a thing that we like to say to ourselves. So we have so basically, I think I'm going to the fact that the reason why they've changed is that their home life has got a bit complicated. But in what way has it got a bit complicated? So that was converting to a truth. So we are going to go back to their house and we're going to do an investigation. Now, we know that there's a threat at the house, which is them. So we're going to need to infiltrate. Oh, hold on, and we're going to need to increase our danger by 1, 2, 3, 4. So that puts our danger at 6. So that if our total rolled is less than the danger, then something happens. And if we roll doubles, something happens, but not for that, like for an attribute test. So we're going to go back and have a look at the house to see if we can find anything interesting. There is a threat there, which is them, which means we need to roll. Do we roll? Yeah, and we add. I think we definitely need to infiltrate. So the inspect roll, because the danger is at 6 now, because they know that we know what's going on. So we need to do an attribute roll to try and get in. We just basically want to observe the house. So we're going to park outside and try and observe the house. So we'll see. So this is insight. Insight or method? Let's do method. So we've got 5, which is a 6. A 6 is a failure. 6 means that we have been spotted. which means that we can use lie again. So we're going to use lie. So they come out and try and tell us to go, and instead we are going to use lie. Oh, okay, here we go. We can eliminate a threat. We will use the lie to eliminate the threat. So we're going to eliminate the threat of him being here. What we're going to do, we are going to speak to the neighbours, and we're going to tell a story about him, about working for the team and needing, so that's using lie, needing to get access to the house. And we are basically going to just go and talk to the neighbours about him. Maybe we'll go and talk to the neighbours about him and the house, and use that as a reason to actually observe the house and do observation of the house, which is the infiltrate stage. Mind you, was that less than the 6? I think so. So we'll do that with the next one, which is bound to roll less than it. So this is, we're going to attempt to locate the clue, to acquire a clue. So this we've had to lie to get into the talk to the neighbour. Now we're going to use insight to attempt to get some more information. Oh, 10 plus 2 is 12. Where is it down here? 12 is a success. So we've just found a clue. So we're talking to the neighbour, and so that's the locate bit, and then we've acquired it. And then there's no threat at the moment because we eliminated the threat, so then we don't have to do the escape. So that means it just goes up by 3, and that is still okay, but we do get an additional clue. From talking to the neighbour, we get to acquire a new clue and find out information about the house, which is a 5, where we're talking about what's going on at the house, and they can tell us about people coming and going is different to normal. Now we can, in our next bit, before we rest, we can spend, oh no, that's to spend a keyword. We've got one mantra. We can spend a keyword to strengthen a clue, which is search the deck, discard a pile, for a card matching established clue set, and then add it. So we could get 2 more. So let's do that. So we are going to burn, oh, we've got the bat. If we say it's a baseball team, we could strengthen the clue by going and spending some time in the, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to spend a clue to a keyword. So we're going to spend a keyword in going back to the team, and we're going to use the bat, which we acquired, to go in the nets, and we're going to start talking to people. We're going to spend the afternoon there talking to people as they come, a bit like Columbo would do, and asking people questions about whether they know anything about what's been going on. Now to do that, we can then go through the clues deck and find a 5. Oh, there we go. Just to tell you, so if a joker was to come out, we would have to put that on a pile of clues. That cancels it, and it means that clue was a red herring. That clue pile's a red herring, and then they all come out, and anything of those. So if that went on top of the 5s, for example, all 5s are red herrings. So this is information from his friends about what's going on, and we're going to, for the evening, we are going to create, which is the end of the 2nd day. So we've done, let's go days. We've done 2 days so far of investigating. We are going to convert the 5s into truths, because we've got 4 cards left that we don't know about, and then we could attempt to guess what it is. So we're going to convert our 5s to truths. So we've got 2 5s. We're going to convert those to truths, which means so this is trying to find out from friends. We're going to try and find information from the dude's friends about what's going on in his life. That gives us a Jack of Diamonds and a King of Hearts. Okay, so if we've got the Jack of Diamonds and the King of Hearts, that means it's not hearts, it's not kings, it's clubs or spades. All right, and we have 2 cards left down there. So we are going to, on the 3rd day, we are going to attempt to, I think we will play this again. I quite like it. I think the flow I mean, the way the book is written, I think some flowcharts or some 1, 2, 3s would be really useful because it's dispersed a bit. Because obviously, when you've written something, I do exactly the same thing. When you write something, you know how it plays. But for me, the cycle of play is a bit. I'm not quite used to it. I mean, I didn't thoroughly read. There is an example here, and I will read that through thoroughly before we play again. And I will play this again, but a longer one, because I genuinely, I'm quite enjoying this. So we are going to the end. When you solve the mystery, you will write down your guess for each truth card set aside at the start of the game. You must guess the suit and the value. After this, reveal the truth cards, narrate the outcome of the mystery. For each truth card that was incorrect, add a twist or complication to the outcome. Then list at least one question you still have about the mystery. All right, so there are 5 cards to choose from. So there's 2 cards that we know are over there and we don't know what they are, and there are 3 cards in the box over there. So let's say we are going to pick the King of Spades and the King of Clubs. Why? Because he's the King of Baseball, and because I think it's the Queen of Spades. Because, oh, here we go, it's the King of Spades and the King of Clubs, because he is the King of Clubs, but the King of Spades, being another one of the players, has actually gone off with his wife, and so that's the reason why things at home, he's a bit different and changed and not playing as well as he was, because everything at home has been a bit messed up. And that is the reason why. So let's see how we did. We might be completely wrong about all of these. So I'm saying, so these are the 3 that are the hidden ones. The Jack of Spades, the Queen of Spades, and the King of Clubs. So we got the King of Clubs right. We got the Queen of Spades right. We didn't get the Jack of Spades right. So that's because it wasn't another one of the players. It ended up being one of the other mums at school is who. So we got 2 of them right, but we didn't get the 3rd one right. So it wasn't another one of the players. We were very close-minded and very old school about our assumptions. It was one of the mums at school that she went off with, and I'm terrible politically incorrect story creation. I do apologise. And so it then says we need to have one other question, which is, where did she go? And that is Caught in the Rain. Oh, I quite like that. That's all right. We'll do that again. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you do like the idea of that, you can hit the link below, and the Kickstart won't open until the 25th of February, I think it is. And you can have a look and follow it, and you can see what you think. I haven't looked, but there's probably some promo stuff that you can download and have a look at. That's pretty cool. We will do that again in a couple of weeks' time. I'll book that in, and we'll do another one in a couple of weeks' time. Possibly another short one, because I think if you don't take those 3 cards out, it would be a lot more complicated. But that's quite cool. I quite enjoyed that. Thank you very much. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do consider, it's not always this, it's normally long tail story things. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild. Thank you so much for your support. And we will reconvene next week, next Saturday, for another indie game. I haven't decided what we'll play next, but it might be one by Peter Schultz, Campside Stories or Campfire Stories. See you then.